Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of my Minecraft Hardcore Season 2 world. We are currently situated within Davy Jones' locker. We have Davy Jones's fortress over here, and we have his ship, the Flying Dutchman, over here. And I think that this project is really fun, and I can't wait to build more stuff here. But there is something that I need to take care of. I need to buy lots and lots of glass. To do that, I need to go inside of Davy Jones's fortress over here and trade with my librarian villagers that I've got situated within. And we've gotten all of these shulkers of emerald blocks that I have so far gathered within this hardcore world. Now is the time that we are finally going to use them. We need glass, and in a huge quantity, all for today's project. You see, today is the day that I finally go ahead and start building myself an entire custom skybox for the enchanted forest that I have above Davy Jones's locker here. And it's going to be a nighttime skybox. It's going to have stars, it's going to have Aurora Borealis, I'm going to build the moon, I might even put some nebulas lying around here and there, and I've got ideas for what I want to do with the sky. I might even add some clouds. Anyway, I have lots of ideas with what I want to do with the skybox, but it's going to be extremely resource intensive. Go away. You've made me mess up my words. But it's going to be extremely resource intensive, and I have put down the chests of the resources that I'm going to have to need for this project. So let's not look at the elephant in the room first. In the first part of the project, I'm going to need a lot of black concrete, and I have worked out how much I need with this nice little equation here. I'm going to need 166,916 black concrete. It's going to be a big box encompassing the entire enchanted forest, and it's going to basically encompass the entirety of the original squidimeter that I drained the ocean of before I expanded it out by another 50 blocks in each direction. So I'm basically going to need about 83,000 sand and 83,000 gravel, which is extreme, but I do actually have most of the gravel already. This is why I am such a hoarder. I just hold on to all of the resources that I think that I might ever need in the world, and now I get to make use of it. I have gone through all of my chest monsters within this world and pooled all of the gravel within this bunch of chests here. And all I need to know that I can finish the project is to make sure that they are full. So we need another 9 double chests worth of gravel. But it's already incredibly beneficial for me for the fact that I only have to do 9 double chests. Sand, on the other hand, is not so lucky. Like, yes, we have a lot of sand. And yes, my statistics show that I've gathered a lot of sand. But a lot of that sand has gone into auto-crafting TNT. So most of it's gone. And I turned 24 shulkers of it into glass recently as well, so that's also gone. I've dug lots of sand in this world, and that I'm going to have to go dig some more. We're also going to need lots and lots of black dye, but fortunately, I've literally just built myself a squid farm, and it has been working overtime. I mean, look at this thing right here. It is brilliant. It is the best thing that I could have built in preparation for this project. It's just a shame that the dolphins like to die in it as well. It has been producing an absolute ton of black dye for me, and it's so fast. It's faster than I could ever have wanted, and it's already supplied me with most of the black dye. I actually would have all of the black dye if I could be bothered crafting the ink sacks that I get in the farm, but I've got the auto crafter there, auto crafting excess black dye, and I don't want to go to the ink sacks that are still in the system in case I need ink sacks and manually craft them when I know that I'm going to be hanging around here for long enough that we start getting more black dye again. Like, this is already a good amount. There's probably already another chest's worth, because I've got this chest over here of black dye as well. So luckily for me, we seem to be sorted on the black dye front. I don't really need to do too much there. And now for the giant elephant in the room. On the interior of the black concrete box that I'm going to put over the enchanted forest here, I'm going to lace it with a layer of black glass. And then another layer of black glass. And then another layer of black glass. And then a fourth layer of black glass. And it really starts to add up. You see this chest wall here? This is going to be the giant elephant in the room. I need to fill up all of these chests with glass before I know that I have enough to complete the project. And we're doing well so far. I've filled up all of these chests over here, basically up to this chest here. Everything onwards, going in that direction, is completely empty. But everything to the left of it is full of glass. That's going to be quite the grind. In fact, I can tell you how much glass I'm going to need because I've done the maths for it. So this is the first layer, the outer layer of glass, and then this is the one on the inside of that, and then this is the one on the inside of that, and then this is the fourth layer inside of that one. And it all adds up to 623,232 black glass. Send help. Please? What? Where am I supposed to get all of that from? Oh yeah, I literally just made a build for this. I'm going to get the glass from my librarians within Davy Jones's fortress. I'm just going to click on them and buy 600,000 glass from my villagers here. And in case you're wondering if I need help, yes, I do, but I'm not going to get any. So I'm just going to sit here and do the grind by myself. Why do I do this to myself? I have absolutely no idea. Now I have 38 librarians here and all of them have the glass trade. And given that they can refresh their trades twice a day, I can buy just over 2 shulkers worth of glass every day. So basically, I'm going to need to spend well over 100 Minecraft days buying glass. Oh dear, I'm definitely in trouble. So needless to say, I'm actually finding this coming episode rather daunting. And black concrete and black glass is not the only thing that I'm going to need. I'm also going to need a lot of end rods, which we don't have too many of in this world. I'm probably going to have to come up with a blaze farm or something like that, but I think we can get that sorted. A blaze farm isn't too difficult to make, and I don't think I need as many end rods as I do black concrete and black glass, so it's much more manageable really. You get quite a few end rods from the crafting recipe as well, so I think I'll be fine there. But I am going to need to put in the time to grind the rest of the resources that I need for this build project. Now the good news is that I will actually be hanging out here in Davy Jones' locker to buy glass for this project, and the very easy solution is to actually expand on the project and mine out a little bit more of the walls. I mean, I did initially think that this hole was big enough for the Davy Jones project, but I don't like the gap between the back of the fortress and the wall here, and the same with the ship over there. I just feel like the hole needs to be bigger. So we're just going to go ahead and dig out some more of that as well. So I hope you all enjoy that really nice time-lapse where I am in complete and utter pain. I'll see you on the other side. back, everyone. We've got the resources, or most of the resources anyway. So we have all of the gravel that we need for this project. We have all of the sand that we need for the SKYBOX project. We have all of the black dye as well. We also have phantoms. Yes, these guys. I hopefully won't see these guys here for much longer with the completion of the SKYBOX project. And not only that, we also have lots and lots of glass. So much glass. I have been buying out the villagers down in Davy Jones' locker for all of the glass that they could provide me, but I still don't have enough. So, where have I gotten up to? Not there, not there, not there, not there. Right, so this is the first. This is as far as I've gotten as far as buying glass. So we still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 rows of double chests to sort out. So we've got 5 in each column, and they're double chests as well. So that's 2 times 11, which is 22, and 22 times 5, which is in fact 110 shulkers worth of glass. That is a lot of glass, but as you can see from my statistics, we have been buying lots. 409,485 glass crafted. That's a pretty insane number. And I think I'd smelted a roughly 40,000 glass on top of that, so we've actually got more than that number. But it is still not 623,232 blocks of glass. We need more. So what I've been doing is I've been grabbing 4 stacks of emeralds from my barrel there, and then I've just been running along all of these villages and buying all of the glass when they restock. And they have raised their prices a few times, so once I got to the part where I'm just farming sand or something in a far off distant land, I've actually set up a couple of chunk loaders with ender pearls directly beneath the villager trading hall here. So when I'm away, the chunk is loaded and the villagers restock, and they lower their trades again back to 1 emerald after a while. So that has been solving that issue. And I can actually get quite a lot of glass from these villagers in one day. So here I've got 1 shulker, 2 shulker, 3 shulkers of glass, plus 4 stacks and 32. And that's just from 1 day's of trading. So I suspect that it won't be too difficult to get the rest of the glass I need for the project, but I also suspect that I'm going to be having to buy the rest of the glass during the project, and we're not going to actually get enough glass prior to starting. But that is okay. There is nothing wrong with acquiring the resources during the build. If I don't do that, then honestly I'm just going to go absolutely insane. But these resources aren't the only things that I've been looking for. I have also been chopping down lots of chorus trees and farming lots of blazes. So what we have here at the end, we have a double chest of popped chorus fruit and a double chest of blaze rods. And you might be wondering, where on earth did I get all the blaze rods? Well, I kind of built a blaze farm in the nether. And it's a bit of an interesting blaze farm because I've actually made use out of the water that I placed in the nether back in episode 3. All that long time ago, 2 years roughly, I used the glow lichen trick from, I think it was snapshot 21W03A to place water within the nether. In fact, I think I have the mother source over here, so let me just show you that real quick before I go to the blaze farm itself. Where's my staircase? Here's my staircase. So back in episode 3, I created this water source in the nether, and I just get around here and kill this small child having a bath, I can show you the glow lichen that I still have here. And what that trick is you place glow lichen within a lava source in snapshot 21W03A, I think, and it just instantly converts the lava source into water, even in the nether. So that's how I got this water in the nether, and then I used kelp and water source mechanics to take it off way off into the distance, all the way over to a blaze spawner. And the blaze spawner is literally just in the middle of this nether fortress, just by my home Cherryville portal there. And There's the hole that I brought the high blazers. There's the hole that I used to bring the water down. And then in the farm itself... Let me through. Thank you very much. You know what? In this farm, you need to turn the game volume down because blazers are way too loud. But anyway, I used the water that I brought down to place water sources here within the farm itself, and I have trapdoors holding the water back. And then once a timer activates, the blazers that are in this little chamber there will be flooded with water, and water damages blazers. Eventually it's going to happen. Surely. It's sure taking a while to kick into action. Ah, there we go. Blink and you miss it. But the trapdoors start drowning the blazers, and water damages blazers, so it takes them down to roughly 1 hit with my smite sword. So it doesn't matter if I have sharpness or smite on my sword, so that's pretty good. And it's a bit of a contraption. I have 2 sets of pistons, one keeping the blazers above the water so that they don't enter the water like halfway through the damaging process, and 1 set of pistons taking the blazers out of the water once they've been thoroughly damaged. And I've got to say, it works pretty well. We'll just get the blaze rods in that chest there. And it took me a long time to get the redstone sorted for this project. I must have been fiddling around with this thing for hours just trying to get the timings right on everything and trying to get the pistons to activate just when I wanted them to. Because I wanted the pistons to retract shortly after the water had been taken back. So I've got this observer here going into a sticky piston here and then going into another observer there, just so that I can get a pulse once the water has been retracted, but not once it's been flooding the chamber. If any of that makes any kind of sense to you, then I've done my job well, but honestly, this has been a confusing one. Oh, that one survived. Must have missed it. So yeah, this is where I get my blaze rods from now. I just like that it involves water. That's pretty cool. I know that I could probably have used a kind of suffocating mechanic and just shoved a block into the blazers' heads, but that doesn't seem as fun as water in the nether, so that's the system that we've got here. Now, there was a couple of oddities during that resource gathering time lapse. One is in the desert where I was farming sand. It was actually quite close to the end of my farming process, but here I have a singular floating block of sand, which I don't think I created accidentally. I think this might have been part of the seed. Yeah, let me see if I can find that within the flashback mod that I was using for the time lapses. Got some floating sand here. Ah, there it is. See? So when I was harvesting all of the sand, this block would have been completely unaffected and thus would have stayed there as I mined out all of the sand beneath it, and now it gets to live its life permanently in levitation. Beautiful. And the other thing I was able to get while I was farming sand was a wandering trader. A very particular wandering trader who happened to sell me some firefly bushes. So that's pretty cool. I can have these. They're new. I think they were added in 1.21.5. And they introduced some little white particles, so it's cool that we now have firefly bushes in the game. After all of the drama of Mojang cancelling the firefly feature a few years ago, we finally got them in the game, and I am super glad to see them. We also got some cactus flowers, because, as you know, deserts are filled with cactus, and eventually they will grow flowers now. So, yeah, we have some of those as well. Not only that, but during that time lapse, I finally got myself a trident. At long last, I finally have a trident within my hardcore world, and we got it while making an expansion on the Davy Jones Locker project. So you might have seen at the start that I was expanding it by about 20 blocks in each direction, and it has made the room considerably larger and it has pulled the walls away from the builds that I have created down here, which I'm super glad about. But eventually, a drowned with a trident spawned, and I finally got it. I got the trident from him, after several drowned that I've killed previously who have also had tridents and have dropped nothing. So yay, we finally have one. But anyway, we have a skybox to build, so I think that it's probably time that we get started on that process. It's a big enough project all on its own. No, I do not have all of the glass that I need yet, so we'll be buying that throughout the project, and hopefully we'll get enough by the time we come to the end of it. But we do have all of the resources we need for all of the concrete, so we'll work on that first. I think we're going to push the border out to our initial squidometer line, and we'll just follow that around, and we'll go up by about 100 blocks, I say, and hopefully that'll give us more than enough space to come up and build ourselves a complete custom skybox. I'm never going to see the sun again. Okay. But anyway, that project isn't going to build itself, so I should probably get started on it. Let's build that custom skybox. everyone, to the world where the sun no longer shines. I have removed it from the world. I have created a full skybox in every direction except below. But we're going to be covering this up with land, so I won't be too worried about the below side of this space. I almost hit a lightning rod. I can get rid of those now. I don't need them anymore. The thunderstorms happen up there. So, yes, this is the skybox. It's big. In fact, I have a feeling I've actually placed 1 million blocks in this episode. I think I've hit that milestone. And the only reason that's happened is because I've actually gone a lot higher than I said I was going to. I said that these walls were only going to be 100 blocks higher, and you know what the very first thing I did was immediately break that promise to myself, for my own sanity's sake, and I built it 140 blocks high instead, which is a huge difference. It's only a 40% increase. So, this has taken a very long time to complete, as I'm sure you're aware. There are so many times where I actually was on the verge of giving up and just calling it a day and releasing the episode there and then. But I felt like I just didn't want this project looming over me. So, what we now have is a skybox with lots and lots of black glass, almost 800,000 glass, and 200,000 black concrete, and roughly 13,000 N-rods, I believe. It's a lot. This project has taken its toll on me, and I don't think I'm going to do this again. Or at least not to this degree. I'm not going to have 4 layers of glass for no reason. Can you even tell? Like, yes, I can tell myself. I can see that this N-rod here is slightly dimmer than this N-rod here, which is slightly dimmer than this N-rod here. But let's look at this from a video viewing perspective, though. Can you even see the N-rods? Like, has YouTube's video compression actually ruined my soul here? Or has this actually turned out well? Let me know. Does this look good? I don't know. I don't know whether this looks good on YouTube. Please tell me this looks good on YouTube. Because the stars are quite small, but they are very numerous. Now, you might notice that the things that I have promised in addition to the base skybox, like the aurora, I was hoping to put some northern lights in the sky. Well, they're not there yet. We'll build that in the future. We'll build some other things in the future. I want to build the moon in the next episode, for example. We'll just have it hanging up in the sky over there or something. And everything else, it will slowly slot into place. But for now, I have the canvas that I want for the enchanted forest. I feel like I've actually built my own dimension here, you know? It's actually pretty cool. But I have noticed that this entire resin platform that I've built is no longer required now that I've built a custom skybox above my head. I mean, the only reason I built this thing was so that I didn't get phantom spawning while I was building the storage system for the resin below me, so let's just get rid of this. We don't need this anymore. Bang! And the platform is gone. This has been an incredibly long project to take on. You know how I hit day 3000 in the last video? Well, I'm currently on a day much further along than that. I'm now on day 3573. I've spent 500 days just making this one video. If you're wondering where my sanity is at, it's as clear as the blue in the sky above my head. I mean, let's look at some statistics. I have crafted, or bought, because buying things from villagers counts as crafting for some reason. I have bought 790,557 glass from my villagers. Wow. So this episode alone has seriously skewed my statistics for this world. But I am hoping that this project is completely worth the pain and blood and sweat and tears that I've poured into it, and hopefully we'll get some cool projects done within this skybox here. And if you're wondering what the skybox looks like from the outside, this is it. It's big. And it's actually a seriously good spawning platform for skeleton horses. I got 2 skeleton horse traps spawning within seconds of each other. So I've hidden these guys under these platforms up here, and then in a separate thunderstorm while I was working on the ceiling, I triggered another one. And those guys aren't going to die, they're never going to go away, because the hitbox of the skeleton on the skeleton horse is actually just ever so slightly low enough that they're in water. So they're not taking damage on the helmet or anything like that, they're not going to burn to death, they're just going to have fun having a giant bath on top of my skybox. Unintentional skeleton horse farm for the win. Now fortunately I was actually lucky enough to get myself another 2 tridents for this world while I was buying glass. So as I was descending into Davy Jones' locker to buy glass inside of his fortress over there, and well, maybe on the way out, well, basically you can see drowned pretty easily in here, and when one spawns with a trident, I usually go and try and kill it and get the trident from it, and we were lucky enough to get 2 more. So here they are. We have one with Impaling 2 and Unbreaking 1, and another with Unbreaking 2. And the original trident that we got in this world, I have moved it into the chest of memories back in Cherryville. You see these lime shulker boxes? All of these were full with emerald blocks. They don't exist anymore. They've been turned into glass. That's a lot of glass. I've also made the decision to convert all of the fishermen down in the Flying Dutchman here, so now they only take 10 cod for 1 emerald, as opposed to 15 cod for 1 emerald, so that's a pretty good upgrade. And if I trade with them frequently, well, then the prices might drop, and they'll actually go down to, I think it's a minimum of 8 cod for 1 emerald, and that's a pretty good deal, you know. My cod supplies did drop pretty dramatically during this video, though. My raw cod farm has, in fact, churned out an absolute ton of fish, but I converted all of it into emeralds with these guys, and we're only just now beginning to fill this barrel up again. Oh dear. You know, believe it or not, I was actually going to go ahead and try and finish the volcano project in this video as well. I'm glad I didn't try to do that, or I might have burned out for real. Oh dear. I can only imagine the torture of yet another segment just after all of this. It would have been too much for me. Too much for one day. Well, it wouldn't have ever fit in one day. Too much for one episode, I think. I mean, if I don't cut this episode here, then odds are, if I try to finish the volcano, this episode won't come out for like another month. So let's just cut that short here, shall we? And call it a day. I hope you enjoyed this episode, everyone, and I will see you in the next one, where hopefully I am feeling more upbeat about the future, and we get some more cool stuff done. Like building the moon. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed, everyone, and I will see you next time. Bye!